like that everybody is off on their own tangent.
Right.
Like, I can't be your friend if. So I'm going to unfriend you because you're a Republican or you're a Democrat or you go to this church or you go to that church or you said this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it really, it's number one, it's unchristian. Number two, it's un-American. Because America has always been pretty diverse in its opinions.
Yeah.
Now, they haven't always handled it well, but it seems like that we're at a really weird place right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the spirit of offense is so high.
Right.
And that is a spirit that is prevailing in the world in general. Mm-hmm. And the Bible says in Matthew 24, where they ask Jesus about the signs of the end times, and he talks about the spirit of offense.
Yeah.
People will be easily offended. So.
Yeah, and I think, we were kind of in that moment. That moment was brewing, as far as offense was. And now there are stakes. With COVID and with all of that, it's sort of up the ante.
Yeah.
And there was a moment there where it felt like we were all just going to be on the same team.
Yeah. And
early on, it seemed like
we're in this together.
Yeah, we're going to be in this together. And now it's sort of shifting to, not to get into the weeds on whose opinions is what, but it's definitely splitting relationships, friendships, things like that.
And it seems to be running pretty close to political party lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah, something split there.
So yeah, this is a magazine I get, Outreach. This series is this magazine's on the virus in the church, uncertainty, disruption, opportunity, service, faith and culture. But this one is a real interesting article because it's Lifeway Research conducted a study on ethics and religious liberty commission. And the reality today is that followers of Christ are being uncivil. Now, that's where instead of incivil, they use uncivil. And it's not everyone, and they acknowledge it's not even the majority. But usually it's the loud minority that makes it feel like the majority.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's always these few that don't represent Christ well.
Yeah.
So I think it was Gandhi who made the statement that he loved Jesus but did not like his people.
Oh, his followers.
Something like that.
Loved Christ but not Christians. Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what this article does is it gives 3 disagreement traps that we should avoid.
Okay.
Disagreement traps. One is insults. And the first trap we fall into is a dependence on insults to make our point.
Right. Well, and this is...
How true is that?
Yeah, this is... And in the debate world, there's a term for it. It's called ad hominem. It's at the man, right? And so when you're in a debate, what you do is... Or poor debaters, what they'll tend to do is instead of dealing with the topic,
they go to the man.
Person. You know? And that's one of the things is you can disagree on ideas, but when you go after the person... Yeah. I mean, obviously it makes it personal. Yeah. So yeah, that's
one of the things. Here's a great quote: "Repeating slurs is easy to do because they're memorable."
Right.
So it's easy to kind of pick up an insult and just keep throwing it.
Right.
Because you remember it. Now somebody else is going to remember it.
Right. Well, and they're easy because you don't have to think. And I think that's my.
You don't have to process.
I think that's my biggest problem with it. Because you know me, I like to argue. I like to have.
You want to start a whole part of the show like
let's fight about that.
Let's fight about that.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then I want like a big thing that we have a sound effect and let's fight about that.
Yeah. But you need to get with. Aaron Kreitis, who puts together the children's service. Yeah. The boys rule, girls drool, or whatever that is.
And let's fight about that.
Boys! Yeah. Whatever, That's what you want.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of having a healthy debate. I'm a fan of getting into it. I'm a fan of, I think it's okay to fight. But I think where it crosses a line is when you just stop thinking. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't get a voice if you're not willing to think. You don't get a voice if you're not... you don't get the right, and you don't get respect if you're not willing to think about why you believe what you believe and what matters and talk about that, and I think that's why so often the things that we end up fighting about are, they're opinions. They're not facts. As much as everyone wants to claim, well, these are the facts, and these are the facts. The truth is, different people have different priorities. Different people have different understandings of the world. Different people have, a whole list of things that make them disagree about something, and it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
So
I think hurling insults is just something that as believers, we should just be bigger than that.
Yeah.
Secondly, it talks about escalation. And this says the second trap is a default to escalation in response to accusation. And here's an interesting stat. 1/3 of us typically cite examples of wrongdoing by the other side when someone with our political beliefs is accused of wrongdoing. So politically or religiously or any other way, you point out something to me, and rather than let it slide, just don't even fight about it.
Well, either defend or accept. Either say that didn't happen, or
right. Just state the facts and move on.
Yeah. It's person.
Yeah. So it's just getting even kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where it escalates.
Yeah.
Is because then it's just like, and the easiest thing to pick on, right? Not pick on, but to talk about is, the Republicans say something about the Democrats say that. And the reality
is, this is what your guy did, and this is what your guy did. And
the reality is that all politicians are humans.
Mm-hmm.
And no politician makes the right decision every time.
Right.
And that there is corruption in politics.
Right.
There's corruption in unions, in religion, in families.
Yeah.
I mean, there's corruption in every level of life.
Anything people touch, they ruin.
Yes.
In a certain sense.
There you go.
So
but the Bible tells us.
You know what? Sorry, I want to actually retract that because within all of those systems wouldn't exist except for good people. They would not exist
totally right.
except for, and so
good intentions, good desires, good motives.
Yeah.
But inevitably, people will find their way in.
Every system will be a mixed bag of good and bad.
Yes.
Every worldview will be a mixed bag of things that clash and things that disagree with each other. And these are my values, but this is the compromise I have to make. This is the So anyway, I just wanted to take that back.
That's a good clarification. Because I totally agree. There's a lot of good people, but there's always that one or two that kind of wiggles their way in that creates that corruption or like that little bit of an issue. But the scripture talks about not paying back evil for evil. And when we talk about that escalation, and your guy did this, but your guy did this, but your guy did this, or your person did, it's just like, just let it go.
Just give it up.
Just leave it alone.
And then the truth is, I mean, nobody's going anywhere because of that.
Exactly.
So that's what I always try and think of, because if so when you're debating or when you're talking or when you're arguing, you have tools. You have a set of tools in your argument bag.
There's parameters.
Yeah.
And you have to fight fair.
The question is this tool effective for this job?
That's good.
Right? So when you're trying to teach, a young person about morality and you pull and you elevate someone, say Abraham Lincoln, and you say, this person, well then there's a reason then to talk about, maybe not everything he did was good. Right? Because you're trying to show the kid that, but online, that tool isn't effective for that job. Saying, your person did this isn't going to change what they think, right? Or saying your person did like that, that back and forth. That tool is not effective for that job. So don't bring it to the work site.
Well, I've never had anybody in a conversation that I've heard of or. And I try to stay away from all those kind of conversations, but say, man, that person slammed my political figure or my religion or whatever, and that changed my mind about everything. It never happens.
Right, yeah.
People don't change their mind because of insults and slams.
Yeah. And if you're not trying to get someone to change their mind, if that's not your goal, then you need to question your motives. Then the first place you need to look is inside, because why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah,
and this is all stuff that I'm pointing directly at myself.
Yeah, well, you are a huge problem in this area.
Okay, well, you weren't supposed to agree. That's part of the rules. I say this is for me, and you say no. Okay, that's what happens. That's not. You don't say yeah.
All right,
it is.
Number 3, the third trap. And so we're talking about this incivility.
Yeah,
is that you feel like you have to win every conversation. That's a trap, because you're not going to win every conversation.
Yes.
Or every argument.
Yes.
At some point, you have to say, you know what?
I was taken off guard for a moment because it was a little bit different than the other two. But it's a trap to fall into that belief
that I have to win. So I'm going to argue till you beg for mercy.
Right.
Because when you're a kid, they put your arm behind your back and make you yell uncle, or grab your ear till you yell uncle, or whatever.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are just like, no, I'm just going to keep at this. So this is what happens in an online post: is somebody posts something that we agree or disagree with. So here's one. Bumblebee.
Oh,
no, Bumblebee. Is it Bumblebee?
What?
The parody. The news parody.
Oh, no. Babylon Bee.
Babylon Bee.
Yeah,
Bumblebee,
okay.
Babylon Bee. It was right there. Something like
close,
that.
I guess. I mean, it's a general animal.
Yes. So Babylon, Bumblebee. Yeah. So Babylon Bee just put out a post that the governor of Kentucky is making all Christians wear yellow crosses. Well, it was...
and they're a satire site.
It's a satire site.
Yeah.
Everything that they put out is like,
right,
made up, far out.
Yeah.
So if you go, people started, who does this guy think he is? Nazi.
No.
That's the word.
Nazi.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Nazi.
Yeah.
The guy's a little Hitler.
Yeah.
And it's just like somebody posted on there, like, hey, the Babylon Bee, not the Bumblebee, the Babylon Bee is a satire site. They just... make up funny stories to help us just kind of laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
No. The next comment is like, I don't care what you say. This guy is out of control. And it's like...
So I'm a part of like a church media and tech group on Facebook.
Yeah.
So they post about, media and tech and sound and all that. So one of the guys, they were creating a social distancing thing at their church, but they had pews.
Okay.
So they took blue tape and taped off the pews, and then they put you know what? I actually sent it to you. I'm going to pull it up real quick and read some of the things they put, because it was so funny. It looks like mom's texting.
Mom's texting us, telling us what to do.
Oh no, I'm scared. Oh, it looks like she did not like my comment about her food. It was actually delicious. I was teasing with Mom. She's not here.
Now you're in real trouble because you called her out about her text.
I know. Oh, sorry.
Great, you should know
No,
better.
she didn't text me that. I guess she commented it online. Oh, so everybody already saw.
So it's out there in public.
Yeah, so it's out there. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were calling her out.
No, I'm not going to just share something like that. Man, I could have sworn
I saw it because it's like...
Oh, it's in Facebook messages. Hold on. I'm gonna pull this up because this is so funny.
Was that the Babylon?
Yeah.
thing?
No. This was in my church meeting.
Yeah,
so he's taping off pews,
stuff.
but then on every pew they taped off, they'll put blue tape and it says, "This pew is saved, so you will have to wait till you get to heaven to sit in it." Or Jesus sat the 5,000 down in rows, but not this row with blue tape. And they go through, and every one of them is a quip.
They just kind of...
Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born, and we still wouldn't let him in this pew if he was here. Find somewhere else. So they go, and there were a few people who were so offended.
Yes.
About this, you shouldn't be joking about the Lord's house. You shouldn't be, and everybody's got their opinions, and that's fine. But I think there's something to be said for, where, again, going back to the tooling back, what is your end goal? Mm-hmm. Because chastising someone online just isn't going to get you to your end goal. Mm-hmm. And this is why it's interesting to me how we use the online space, because it seems like it's the opposite of how it should be, right? So whenever something, comes out or gets my goat or whatever, I'll talk to Brooke about it, and
Right.
I'll just say whatever I think about it. I'll just throw it out there, and then she'll say, "Oh, you don't think that?" And I'll say, "Well, probably not, but still, whatever
I needed
that
to
is."
say something.
And then online, I don't say anything about it because I have someone I can just say that stuff to, and it feels to me like a lot of people do the opposite.
Yes.
Is they don't talk to anyone close to them.
Right.
The online space is the space that they go first, and they just spout off anything that they think, and it's just like you got to flip those things around.
Yeah.
You got to have people that you can just give your unfiltered thoughts to.
Exactly.
There's got to be those people in your life. Online is not the place to do it. Filter the
Now,
thoughts.
Here's why this whole conversation is important.
Yeah.
Is they bring it back around that 66% of 18 to 20-year-olds quit attending church during that time frame, from the 18 to 22 years old.
Okay.
66% will fall out of church.
Wow.
The number 4 reason, 25% say it's because they can't go to church with people who have a different stance on political or social issues.
Wow.
So that goes back to this easily offended.
Yeah.
I think we have to
we
have to figure out how to get a platform for public discourse.
Yeah.
But as Christians, we're going to have to play smarter.
Yeah.
We cannot play into the entrapment of these ideas of insults and escalation and trying to win every argument. We've got to figure out how to win at this if we're really going to make an impact in the world.
Right.